I want to apologize for the lack of quality from the last entry of this series. I'm trying this again. We're going to be looking at tonight videos that disturb me even to this day. Among these are a flesh-eating fungus, a massive 300-pound tumor removed from a woman, and a police shooting from the perspective of a kid's vlog. So, are you ready to dive deeper? So my brother showed me this video after I ate a sandwich that had a bit of mold on the end of it. Apparently what happened to this guy in the video is that he ate moldy bread and it gave him a condition known as mycosis, I think that's how it's pronounced. It's dangerous because of how rare it is, and it basically necrotizes your flesh. It's usually fatal unless the infected tissue is just cut off. Okay, so I did a little bit of research and I think this is what happened. When he ate the moldy bread, the mercor fungus spread throughout his nasal cavities and it likely became rhinocerebral mercomycosis, which is usually fatal. The treatment usually involves, things like aspirin, getting some rest, and the removal of the affected tissue. This is usually because it will spread, and in the case of the guy that ate the moldy bread, it would have spread to his brain, which would have killed him.
The first few hours after admission, he was indeed blind in his left eye, and then after that it was a diagnostic dilemma to figure out exactly what was causing it. Whatever this was probably pretty rare.
Tests revealed that a fungus called mucor had taken root in Mark's sinuses, a rare condition that almost always kills.
For simplicity's sakes, mucor is really bread mold.
His doctors told me that it was worse than the flesh-eating virus. That really, it was your worst nightmare of anything that could happen to you.
The only treatment really is to surgically remove it.
But surgery would have radical consequences. Mark would be permanently disfigured if he lived. Mark chose life, but it was a life unlike anything he ever imagined.
And this is where it becomes quite horrifying, really, because the surgery that was done, even the surgeons really didn't know how to approach this. And really the only person that really stuck by Mark and knowing what to do during all this time period was his wife.
The surgery was on Valentine's Day. I kept thinking, I'm going to wake up here in a minute and everything's going to be normal, But it wasn't.
They removed both of his eyes. They removed all of his nose. And basically everything from his eyebrows down to his tongue was removed.
While the terrible reality of what was happening was almost too much to bear, Nancy was determined to stand by her husband.
Everybody gave up on me, except Nancy. She just wouldn't let go of me. It just brought me back. I can't explain it.
Defying all odds, Mark survived the surgery. But there was little doctors could do to prepare anyone for the shock of seeing him without a face.
The nurses would come in, but they were really scared to do anything. They just weren't able to come into the room and take care of the patient the way they were supposed to take care of him, because they just never really seen anything like this before.
Until you see it, I don't think you can imagine it. They had me stand at the end of the bed and they put a chair behind me so if I passed out I wouldn't fall on the floor.
This is Mark today, almost a year and 11 surgeries later. And although this was the face his wife Nancy fell in love with, this is the Mark she loves today.
She's been through heck. She's headed hard too. And I got to sleep through a lot of it. But she's had to walk through it and wait and stay up all night and watch over me. And she's just done a great job.
Though the ordeal has truly been a life-altering experience, Nancy says in the end, the adversity has only made their love stronger.
Even though something so horrific happens to you, life still goes on. There's still a quality of life. now that when I look at Mark, I don't even notice what has happened to him. I still see Mark.
Olha aqui, tá aí, meu Deus do céu, nossa equipe acompanhando aqui com exclusividade, o cara terminou de matar, meu Deus do céu.
This is a Brazilian video depicting a murder at a convenience store. The news anchors at the area wanted to take footage of the victim, who was already riddled with bullet wounds, and this was before the arrival of the police or any ambulance. The anchors wanted to go in and get a more detailed story of what happened, right when someone with a gun points it at the victim's head and shoots. In a darkly humorous fashion, the news anchor runs as quickly as he can away from the situation. And this would become a meme in the Brazilian internet community. Unfortunately for a lot of Brazil, violent crime is the reality of their lives, as violent crime in the area is extremely high. The only thing a lot of these people there can do is laugh at it as a coping mechanism. The homicide rate is 6 times the rate of the US's homicide rate. The rate of crime is 40% higher than the rate of crime in the US. There are 5 times the amount of murders than that of the US. And frankly, Brazilians perceive their crime problem as something that is just getting worse. The good news, of course, is that crime in Brazil is actually decreasing, so they are fixing the problem.
Já? 1h30 da madrugada já do domingo. Plantão policial registra mais uma tentativa de assassinato, dessa vez aqui no Jardim Veneza. Nossa equipe com exclusividade, primeira equipe a chegar aqui no local. Nem a polícia, nem o SAMU chegou ainda. E tá ali, ó, a vítima agonizando ao solo, crivada de bala, gente. As pessoas aqui tentando ajudar o rapaz e ele tá aí, crivado de bala. O SAMU já foi acionado, já acionei o SAMU, a polícia militar, para socorrer esse rapaz que tá aí. Aí, meu... Olha aqui, tá aí, meu Deus do céu, nossa equipe acompanhando aqui com exclusividade, o cara terminou de matar, meu Deus do céu, Berg, meu Deus do céu, o cara terminou de matar o outro na nossa frente, meu Deus do céu, fica aqui, Berg, fica aqui, o cara atirou na cabeça do cara na nossa frente, gente, meu Deus do céu, nossa equipe com exclusividade, ó Berg, tu viu, velho, meu Deus do céu. Atirou na cabeça do cara, rapaz. Jesus do céu, meu Deus. Como é que pode uma coisa dessa? O SAMU tá chegando. Bora, vem. Vem, Berg. Vem. Meu Deus do céu. Que é isso? Gente, como é que pode... Meu Deus do céu. Cadê o cara, não? Tá. Meu Deus do céu. Sai da frente. Meu Deus. Já. Cadê ele? Ele correu, foi. Meu Deus do céu. Jesus do céu. Matou. O cara tava agonizando, gente. Nossa equipe mostrando, flagrou aqui com exclusividade. O cara terminando de matar o rapaz. Meu Deus do céu. Meu amigo, que situação complicada. Jesus do céu, meu Deus. Nunca na minha vida eu vi uma coisa dessa, né? Nossa equipe estava aqui mostrando a vítima ao solo, nem polícia chegou aqui ainda, o SAMU chegou agora. O cara chegou com a arma e disparou na cabeça da vítima. Meu Deus do céu. Tá vivo ainda. O cara correu, foi? Correu? Meu Deus do céu. Gente, aqui ainda tá vivo ainda. Vem, Berg. Mostra aqui, Berg. Meu Deus do céu. Vamos acompanhar aqui, gente, a chegada do SAMU aqui no local. É teu sobrinho, né? Meu Deus do céu. Chegou o tio dele aqui. Mostra aqui, Roberg. Chegou o tio. Meu Deus do céu. Amigo, pelo amor de Deus. Eu nunca tinha visto uma coisa dessa na minha vida. Nunca tinha visto, meu Deus. Meu Deus, aí, Rodrigo. O tio dele chegou aqui no local. É Rodrigo, é? É Rodrigo. Meu Deus do céu. Gente. Não! Não. Gente, eu confesso a vocês que nós chegamos aqui, gente, e estávamos aqui, acionamos o SAMU, acionamos a polícia, e quando chegamos aqui, o cara chegou, matou na frente da gente, velho. Matou na frente da gente, meu Deus do céu. Jesus. Eu confesso que na minha vida eu nunca tinha passado por uma coisa dessa, uma situação dessa. Nós estávamos aqui mostrando, gente, a vítima no chão aí, agonizando já. O cara chegou, sacou a arma na frente da gente e atirou na cabeça do rapaz aí, identificado por Rodrigo. Eita, meu Deus do céu. Tá aí, pessoal do SAMU aí fazendo de tudo aí para tentar salvar o rapaz ainda que tá se mexendo, ele tá ali agonizando. Gente, olha, no mínimo umas 30 pessoas aqui, quando nossa equipe chegou. Não tinha polícia, nem o SAMU tinha chegado ainda. Nós estávamos aqui prestando assistência, acionamos a polícia e o SAMU, e de repente flagramos aqui uma situação que sinceramente, tá aí, graças a Deus, meu Deus do céu, já estão botando ele aí dentro do SAMU. Meu Deus, tá vivo não, gente. Ai, Jesus. Ai, meu Deus do céu. Que momento, que tragédia. Tá aí nossa equipe acompanhando com exclusividade. Aí.
October 13th, 1991. At the Stanford University Medical Center just south of San Francisco in Palo Alto, California, Dr. Cato Hanlon was getting ready for the most challenging operation of her career.
A woman gets a benign tumor and for 8 years doesn't get an operation for it. The tumor then balloons to 300 pounds in size. It's so massive that she can't lay on her back and that she is bedridden for years. The reason why she didn't go to the doctor is because she didn't have insurance to pay for an operation and because she had agoraphobia. She gets the tumor removed and makes a full recovery. Sometimes ovarian cysts will develop in women due to various hormonal or genetic reasons. These cysts can then in turn become benign tumors. Just because these tumors are benign or harmless does not mean that they don't pose a threat to your body. They can compress your internal organs if they get big enough, and in turn they can also suck away nutrients from your body, which can lead to weight loss and malnutrition. In the case of the woman in the video, the tumor was so large it began to flare her ribcage outward. And of course there was also the issue of her internal organs being crushed.
October 13th, 1991. At the Stanford University Medical Center just south of San Francisco in Palo Alto, California, Dr. Cato Hanlon was getting ready for the most challenging operation of her career. In OR 8, a medical team of 12 was preparing for a surgery they would never forget. Their patient lay on her side with an enormous growth protruding from her abdomen.
I've seen some large ovarian tumors. I've taken out a 37-pound ovarian tumor before, and I thought that was pretty large. But when I saw the tumor inside the young lady that I was seeing, I was pretty amazed. It was massive.
What you're about to see is very graphic. You are not looking at blood. The patient has been prepped for surgery with a red sterile solution called betadine.
From talking to the patient, we determined that this tumor had probably been growing for about 8 years. And then 2 years before the operation, she was actually bedridden.
How could a tumor get so big? And why didn't the patient seek help earlier? The patient suffered from agoraphobia, the intense fear of the outside world. She was literally terrified to leave her home, and that fear, coupled with the abnormal growth of the tumor, brought on panic attacks and severe bouts of depression. In her mind, doctors were the enemy. She was convinced that surgery would kill her. It was family members who ultimately persuaded the woman to have the surgery. First, her entire body had to be sterilized. Then the surgical team had to figure out how to actually get at the tumor.
My big concerns about the surgery were positioning of the patient, because we had to intubate her laying on her side. She couldn't lay on her back because the tumor would crush her. This was how we planned the surgery, starting from her right hip bone underneath the mass and from her right hip bone extending the incision over the belly button. All of this was excess skin that was removed. The tumor in my patient was a multicystic tumor. It had many small little water balloons separated by vascular solid nests of fibrous tissue. This mass had a risk of cancer. It had to be removed in one piece, because if we had spilled the cancer into her abdominal cavity, she would have risked having a recurrence. So we had to plan the surgery to remove it in one piece, since it was so what we call complex.
A grueling 6 hours later, the tumor was finally separated from the patient in one enormous piece.
So here's the tumor being carted off to pathology, and we're saying goodbye to it now.
The pathology report contained the good news that the tumor was benign. But the real shock was the official weight of the tumor. An unbelievable 303 pounds. A Guinness record.
When they called into the room and told me that, I actually thought that they had weighed the tumor with the gurney. And in fact, they hadn't, but I had to ask them, and they guaranteed me that that was the total sum of the weight of the tumor only.
When the tumor was dissected into tiny pieces and analyzed, pathologists found it to contain some very bizarre things.
A dermoid is an unusual type of tumor. It can contain any type of human tissue. And in fact, this patient had both hair and teeth in portions of this massive tumor.
One last look at the patient before the surgery and a few months afterwards reveals the enormity of the procedure accomplished by Dr. O'Hanlon.
It's funny to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for removing somebody else's tumor.
We're very pleased to report that the patient has fully recovered and remains tumor and cancer-free. We'll be right back.
Breaking update in Jackson County tonight, the GBI confirming that Deputy Lena Marshall has died after being shot in the line of duty. Marshall was shot Friday night while responding to a domestic call.
CBS 46's Sierra Cummings live tonight with the details. Sierra.
Jessica Warsham went on a downward spiral. She was a YouTuber and a self-proclaimed psychic who was homeless for years with her children, whom she dragged into situations where she would couch surf, essentially. She would try to brainwash her kids into hating their father, whom she divorced, and into thinking that the life that they were leading was okay. She decided to take ownership of her kids and also stopped any chance of their dad taking them in until it was too late. Worse, she bought a gun and made it very clear that she was going to use it on anyone who she thought was a threat, which is concerning, but we'll get to that later. I'll warn you now that this gets very disturbing quickly, so if you want to skip this entry and not see the video, the timeline is there. Jessica's delusions would worsen and she became more aggressive and angry towards the people around her in her life. She would often get into physical and verbal fights with the people that she stayed with, and that would result in her getting kicked out, as she would once again groom her children and force them to act a certain way, and even record videos hating on their dad. And in these videos, they'd often cry doing this. These kids just wanted a home, and something else is up. She would often tell them to record whenever something went wrong. This will become pertinent soon. She believed that she was being gang stalked and that she was a psychic. A lot of these things would point to her having schizophrenia. Obviously, we're not going to know because no diagnosis was ever made, and it's obvious that there was something seriously wrong with her. And the reason why we're not going to know is that the gun that she bought, which she named Betty, she decided to use it. Her delusions got worse, and the inevitable happened. She got kicked out one time from yet another home. She pulls out her gun, 9/11 was called, and she ends up shooting a deputy and then being killed by that cop. The cop later dying a few days later.
And we have a heartbreaking update in Jackson County tonight. The GBI confirming that Deputy Lena Marshall has died after being shot in the line of duty. Marshall was shot Friday night while responding to a domestic call.
CBS 46's Sierra Cummings live tonight with the details. Sierra.
When Deputy Marshall arrived to that Jackson County home to help a family, a woman came out and started shooting at the officer. She remained in critical condition all weekend. Her end of watch came this afternoon.
Domestics and traffic stop are two of the worst things that we do.
Deputy Lena Marshall responded to her final domestic call Friday night, just after 9 o'clock. The GBI says the homeowners wanted a woman to leave, but she would not. When Jackson County deputies arrived, the suspect fired at Marshall and her partner. The partner fired back, killing the suspect.
She went in to help somebody and try to prevent something to get worse and maybe to save a life, no matter what that is. She didn't know those people. She knew nothing about them. All she knew as she went in there is this is my job to save somebody and protect somebody.
Vince Champion with the local police union says officers don't need to know each other to be family. He considers this a loss for the entire law enforcement community. Jackson County even began raising funds to help with Marshall's recovery. The sheriff writing on his Facebook, their hearts are heavy tonight as the mom lost her fight.
We will carry on and we will take the patrol now and she can rest in peace.
And the suspect who ultimately killed Deputy Marshall is identified as Jessica Worsham. Jessica Worsham died on scene Friday. The sheriff's office says the funeral arrangements for Deputy Marshall are still being planned. I'm Sierra Cummings, reporting for CBS 46 News.
I want you to leave everyone alone. It's running.
You're hurting him. Look at what you're doing.
He is hurting us.
Go
upstairs.
If you touch me, upstairs.
I swear I'll call the cops on you.
Retribute me. I promise you.
I'll get you away from
Please
that.
stop! Oh my God, Sandra. Maya, get your phone.
I am.
Get your phone, Maya. Get your phone. Come down here. Get your phone. Get the fuck away from my mother, bitch. Get your phone. Get your phone. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. Hold your phone up. Get the faces. Stop this, Cheryl.
I tried to get you out of my
Put your hands on my grandma.
He hasn't touched them at all.
Let me go.
He hasn't touched them at all, please.
Put your hands on my grandma
Hold your
again.
phone on their faces.
I am.
On their faces. Miss Cheryl, stop. Please stop.
Jessica.
Please stop.
Hey,
Cheryl,
like I said, you were supposed to be upstairs. This wouldn't have fucking happened if you were upstairs.
Listen, Xander.
Get your ass upstairs. Shut the fuck up. I'm not
are-
talking to you either.
You are talking about
I don't care. I don't care. Go.
You
You need to get out of this house.
Xander,
You need to get out of this house.
Out of it.
You want me to call the cops and get you out of this house?
Police.
I will get you out of this house.
Stay down.
Stop pushing on me.
Call the police. No, Mom.
Hey, if y'all aren't wanted here and this is our house, it don't matter what the fuck I did. Y'all gotta
Keep
get out.
recording. Are you recording? Make sure you get their faces. Get their faces. Look at what she's doing. Cheryl Plott. This is Cheryl Plott. She and her son Xander Plott just hit him and knocked him on the ground. Please look at them. Look at them. Look at what she's doing to him. Look at what she's doing.
But you didn't let me go. And that wouldn't happen. No,
Cheryl, you need to stop. Because we're going to upload this to YouTube, and you need to stop.
Keep your hands to yourself.
You need to keep your hands to yourself, you psycho person. Hit me. Hit me. Make sure you... You hit me. You are a psycho. You are absolutely out of your mind. And so
No,
is
she's
Sandra.
not.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Here.
No, she's not.
Is this your phone? This is your phone.
I told her she needs to get out of this.
I'm scared, Maya. I don't know what your problem is, but you have something wrong with you. What's wrong with you? I'm scared, Mom. I'm scared. It's fine. This is supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen. Make sure you get her face. Get her face. Cheryl Plot. This is Cheryl C-H-E-R-Y. Yes.
No.
I'm scared. Go upstairs. I'm scared.
Don't even go upstairs. I'm already
Stop screaming! Please. Bella, shut the door. Shut it! Shut the door. Fucking shut it. Please, I'm so scared. I'm scared. Stop yelling. I don't want to be homeless again. Please. I don't want to go to Sean. Please. I don't want to. Please, I hate them. No, I want to get arrested. I don't want this to happen. Oh, please. Please stop. No. No. Please, I'm so scared.
There's an account that makes stop-motion recreations of gore videos like the infamous chainsaw beheading incident. You know, all of this would, I wouldn't say be fine, but okay, I guess, if it weren't for the fact that the creator is using real audio from these incidents. I obviously can't show you the audio, but it's there, and, you know, the worst part about it is that there's some actual talent there. You know, you can show an expressive face with some real emotion there, but you're not going to think about that when you hear someone breathe from a stump where their head once was. I honestly have no idea what to make of it. The videos are all barely over 5 seconds long, and the ones that are at least 30 seconds long are the infamous cases of gore like the chainsaw beheading incident. It's usually either true crime, the Ukraine war, or the cartels. It's obviously something that's done for artistic purposes, but still, it's just, there's not really much to say about it. It's just gore. It's definitely creepy knowing that all of it's real, and the drawings don't even really escape the emotions from the original videos, particularly the looks of just abject terror. You know, in the comments there's just like some serious division between some people that really like the unique style of all of it, even if it is just extremely graphic, and other people that are either weirded out or just horrified by it. Now, I'm going to show some of the videos without the audio. They are still creepy, knowing that they come from real cases like this. If you want to skip it, the timeline's there.
go. He's an angel. Wow. So what, he doesn't clean his dishes?
Petty complaints of a comfortable marriage have all melted away for Katie and Al Hayes. The loving couple already had 2 terrific children, but it's the birth of the third that changed everything.
A woman giving birth fell into septic shock due to complications in her giving birth, and what ended up happening is that they had to amputate her arms and legs. This sort of thing can happen due to medical error, and medical error kills a surprisingly high amount of people. It's actually one of the highest killers in a hospital. Sepsis is the second biggest killer for pregnant women in the US. It happens when the pregnancy involves hemorrhaging, a C-section, or involves continuous bleeding from a wound in some way. As the body falls into septic shock, blood doesn't go into your extremities, leaving them without oxygen or nutrients. They will turn black or purple. Then they are likely to necrotize if it is not addressed quickly enough. This means that the only thing that can be done in cases like this is to amputate the limbs because they are already dead. Something else worth considering is the ethical question that was posed in the comments. Whether or not the plug should have just been pulled and they should have just let her die. I think it's just extremely disturbing to hear that you can go to sleep with arms and legs and then just wake up without them. And I think for a lot of people, going through that just kind of poses the question, is life really worth living after a certain amount of injuries? Like, is life worth living without your limbs? I'm not really qualified to answer that question.
Lay here and go. He's an angel. Wow. So what, he doesn't clean his dishes?
Petty complaints of a comfortable marriage have all melted away for Katie and Al Hayes. The loving couple already had 2 terrific children, but it's the birth of the third that changed everything. The last thing Katie really remembers is giving birth at her Houston area home February 10th. And then this.
Waking up in the hospital with no arms and legs. Going, what happened? What's going on here? And then he tells me, and his story will knock your socks off, because I had no idea I was going through all that.
She was unconscious the entire time, unaware that a common strep A infection had set in and was eating away at her body, unaware of the incredibly difficult decision her husband made to amputate her arms and legs in the hopes of maybe saving her life.
And I decided that I loved her so much that the risk was worth it, that if we came out and I had to spend a lifetime taking care of her, that the risk was worth it to not say that I gave up on her. Right? She's my best friend.
At first he admits he wondered if she'd forgive him.
How gorgeous.
There is no doubt now.
You're doing good today.
It's a complete miracle I'm alive. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I wouldn't be here for my kids, you know, if they hadn't have taken the arms and legs.
Katie Hayes may not have limbs, but she does have life, and lives worth living for.
I got 3 beautiful children, so I'm doing good.
And Katie says she will one day learn to walk, perhaps at the same time as her baby girl.
Ready? All right. Seattle, Washington. It's a domestic violence call.
Oh, get out! Get out!
A man with a large knife is standing between officers and 2 children and 2 adults hiding.
A domestic violence case leads to a man beheading a woman and holding her kids hostage. It isn't clear how it escalated to that point, but police were called and they wore body cameras. The man would throw the knife that he used to behead the woman at the officers, and the officers ended up shooting him in retaliation. When it comes to domestic abuse and murder, there is actually an 8-step model that murderous spouses usually undergo, starting with stalking and obsession and ending with murder. The spouse tries to control their partner, and it usually escalates after an incident, leading to outbursts and a desire for more control. When it gets to be too much, the perpetrator will then stop desiring a relationship and then start to plan to kill their former spouse.
Ready? All right. Seattle, Washington. It's a domestic violence call. A man with a large knife is standing between officers and 2 children and 2 adults hiding in another room. But what they're about to witness will probably be one of the most shocking crimes of their careers.
Whoa. I just want to warn you, what you're about to see and hear is extremely graphic, but it shows you what officers go through every single day across this country. I am confident that once those officers kicked in that door, they were not expecting to see what they were about to see. It will forever be etched in their minds. Absolutely. Once again, I just want to warn you, what you're about to hear and see is extremely graphic. Let's head back to the scene.
The suspect has a butcher knife, and the officers are trying to identify and save any potential victim. Watch what happens when the officers finally kick in the door. The blurred out bloody image to the right is horrific.
Get fire, get fire. Stay right there. Don't move. Don't move.
The officers noticed a woman's head has been severed from her body.
Her head is cut off. Hey, stay right there. Shit, let me see. Give me see. Stay there.
Now they're trying to process a man with a butcher knife and the bloody scene just inches from their feet.
Do not touch the knife.
They have to remain as calm as they can and attempt to get the suspect to drop the knife.
Yes! She got her head cut off. All right.
But don't forget, there's hostages and maybe more victims.
Don't do it. We will shoot you. Do not move for the knife.
The suspect keeps the knife close and is still not complying with the officer's order.
Touch the knife. Don't touch the knife.
One officer tries to clear the apartment looking for victims when the suspect grabs the knife again.
Did he pick up a gun? He got the knife. He got the knife. Sit down on the... He got the knife again?
They open fire.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
Even though he's been shot, the suspect then throws the knife at the officers.
Get down. Let's move in.
In the end, the officers rescued the 2 children and 2 adults from the apartment. The suspect was declared dead at the scene.
Wow, that was insane. And I hope that those police officers got some mental health help, because based upon what they saw and what they heard, it's going to be difficult for them to process. You know, a domestic violence call is one of the most dangerous calls a police officer can handle, because you never know what's going to happen behind those doors there. It could be like a powder keg of emotion that's about to explode at any moment. And I salute those officers for what they have to deal with every single day. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Street Survival, Police Shootouts Caught on Camera.
To surrender peacefully and pleaded with her for compliance, a de-escalation technique.
Vanessa, talk to me. Vanessa, it's Gilbert. Talk to me.
Actress Vanessa Marquez gets shot and killed by the police after pointing a fake gun at them. They were called because she was going through a severe mental health crisis, as well as going through multiple seizures. This may have been an instance of a police suicide, where someone will go to the police using force with the intent of getting killed by them. The mentally ill are disproportionately affected by crime. And with the lack of resources to provide healthcare, these people tend to fall through the cracks. If even someone rich and famous can become a victim, then anyone can. The police offer programs to try to de-escalate situations involving the mentally ill in these scenarios. They can provide alternatives to incarceration. Vanessa's family sued the police after they made a self-defense claim. But when you look at the footage, you realize that someone should have cared for them a long time ago.
An out-of-state friend of Vanessa Marquez called the fire department to express concern about her well-being. The fire department then called police. Officers were dispatched to her home, which they found to be in extreme disarray due to hoarding conditions.
Vanessa! I'm gonna have to step on these back.
She's returning to the store from her residence off of the America.
Wow.
She likes to buy stuff.
Vanessa!
Vanessa, it's the police!
Police department, Vanessa! Are you okay?
Officers found Marquez in bed. She told officers she was having a seizure.
Vanessa! Vanessa, are you okay?
It's the police, Vanessa.
It's the police!
Seizure.
Seizure? She's having a seizure.
She's having a seizure. Didn't take her to the hospital. No.
Okay. Okay. We're just making sure you're okay.
Paramedics and a mental health clinician were summoned to assist. They arrived a few minutes later. Officers, a paramedic, and the clinician calmly spoke with her for about 30 minutes about her medication and physical and mental health situation.
Vanessa, everybody's concerned for your safety. So, well, they called us they called us and they sent us over here to check up on you.
So you understand my concern that you have seizures, and you're in your house by yourself having seizures. You understand that that's a huge concern for me?
Yes.
You taking your medication? When was the last time you saw your doctor? Last week. And did they adjust your medication?
Had you had seizures before that, or was that the first time? So you have a history of seizures?
Some of her responses were unintelligible. Ultimately, the mental health clinician and officers determined she needed to be hospitalized.
Vanessa, I'm going to read you something, okay? So, my name is Officer Carrillo. I'm a peace officer with South Pasadena PD. You are not under criminal arrest, but I am taking you to an examination by a mental health professional at Huntington Memorial Hospital. You will be told your rights by the mental health staff. You may bring a few personal items with you, which I will have to approve. Please inform me if you need any assistance turning off any appliances. We'll help you out. Okay, so you're not under criminal arrest, but you are coming with us. We're placing you on a 5150 hold, okay? As gravely disabled and a danger to yourself, okay?
I'm not going.
We've already had this discussion, and it's beyond that now, okay?
I'm not going.
That's when Marquez first grabbed a pair of scissors from her purse and then a handgun.
Wait. Oh shit, got a gun. Gun.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! I'm not gonna kill you! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Get down! down, get down. I don't know. It's a gun though. Drop the gun. Come on, go.
In an effort to de-escalate the situation, officers backed out to provide time and space, retreating down a staircase to a common area. They called to Marquez repeatedly to surrender peacefully and pleaded with her for compliance, a de-escalation technique.
Vanessa, talk to me.
Vanessa, it's Gilbert. Talk to me. Miss Marquez, are you okay?
The shooting occurred a short time later when Marquez emerged from the apartment and advanced down the staircase toward the officers with the weapon in her hand.
Vanessa!
Everyone's clear from the apartment. Subject barricaded with the...
Listen, Vanessa, come out with your hands up first.
Vanessa, just drop the gun. Vanessa, put your hands up. No gun, okay? Do you have a gun?
Vanessa! Drop whatever in your hand right now! Drop it!
Pull back, dude. Pull back.
Here's a slowed down version of the video. Look in the upper left corner and you can see the gun. In this magnified screenshot, you can see the gun is pointed forward and down the stairs. Because body-worn cameras are worn on officers' chests, the angle of the camera prohibits viewers from seeing everything the officers saw and experienced. The gun was recovered at the scene and it was later determined to be a replica.
Leave a like, subscribe, and share for more. Let's hit 100 likes.
May 24th, 2001. A large part of the third floor of the Versailles wedding hall collapses in Talpiot, Jerusalem, Israel. 23 people fall to their deaths, while another 356 are injured. The disaster is considered one of the deadliest civil disasters in Israeli history. The disaster happened due to insufficient load capacity. People began to notice early on that the floor was sagging, but the owners, thinking that the issue was merely cosmetic, decided to remove partitions that stabilized the floor. Being built with the pal-cal method, the floors were built with metal plates and thin layers of cement. This caused the building to be extremely unstable due to the massive amount of weight on the floor and due to the lack of support throughout the building. Further investigation showed that there were additional structural flaws with the building that compounded with one another to cause it to be weaker than usual. Initially, the side of the building that had collapsed was designed to be a 2-story structure. However, later on in the process of building it, it was made into a 3-story structure. The issue with this is that the third floor, which was originally going to be a roof, was not designed to have the amount of weight that a 3rd-story floor would have, which weakened it. When the owners of the building noticed that the floor was sagging and thought that it was a cosmetic issue, they attempted to level it out and fill it with grout and fill. However, this approach not only failed to give structural support. It also caused a new issue of adding dead load to the weakened area, which made the issue worse. Eli Ron, the inventor of the Palcal construction method, and the 3 other engineers involved in the construction of the wedding hall were found guilty, along with the 3 owners of the hall, for causing the death of these people through negligence and through sabotage through negligence. The song that was played in the wedding hall has never been played again by the creator of the song.
하객들이 환호하는 가운데 유대교 전통 관습대로 결혼식이 진행됩니다. 여기서 바로 이어진 피로연. 신랑 신부가 진한 사랑을 표현하며 하객들과 신나는 춤판을 벌입니다. 그러나 충격에 휩싸인 사람들이 어쩔 줄 몰라하고 여기저기서 비명소리가 터져나옵니다. 축복의 장이 한순간에 지옥으로 변했고 4층에 있던 수백 명이 삼풍백화점 희생자들처럼 건물 더미에 깔렸습니다. 오늘까지 확인된 사망자는 모두 30명, 신랑 신부 등 300여 명은 크게 다쳤습니다. 이스라엘 경찰은 건물주가 예식장홀을 새로 꾸미기 위해 건물 기둥을 철거한 사실을 밝혀내고 설계사 등 8명을 체포했습니다. 이번 사고는 우리에게 삼풍백화점 사고의 비극을 떠올리게 하는 참사였습니다. KBS 뉴스 이승환입니다.
결혼식장에 들어선 신랑 신부의 표정이 마냥 행복해 보입니다. 하객들이 지켜보는 가운데 평생 서로 믿고 사랑하겠다는 혼인서약, 그리고 유대인 결혼 풍습인 신랑이 발로 유리컵 깨기, 식은 끝나고 축하 파티가 시작됐습니다. 너도 나도 즐겁고 어린아이도 흥이 났습니다. 그때 갑자기 (3층) 바닥이 통째로 꺼지면서 600여 명의 하객들이 어디론가 사라져버렸습니다. 생명의 환희가 넘쳐나던 피로 연장이 죽음의 아수라장으로 변하는 순간이었습니다. 사망 30여 명에 부상 300여 명. 신랑 신부는 약간의 부상만 입은 채 가까스로 목숨을 건졌습니다. 얼마 전 건물 주인이 예식장 홀을 넓게 쓰기 위해 내부 수리를 한다면서 기둥을 잘라버린 게 화근이었습니다. 축복으로 끝났어야 할 결혼식장이 폐허로 변한 자리엔 지금도 시신 발굴 작업이 한창입니다.